Chris asked you to be his man of honor.
He did.
And what did you say?
And I told him, I'm honored to be your man of honor. It's kind of like a number 2
Best man. That's right.
Exactly.
And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? All the good memories with Mimi Baker, everything. I told her all about wrestling all the time. My color comes.
You talked to her about when you called the police on her?
Breast cancer. We're all thinking of you. Survive in this breast cancer awareness. We all believe in the survivors in the breast cancer awareness. Be the champions you are. Be you want to be. It's really hard right now. It's really hard to lose what you love. And at that moment with Mimi Baker, it's just like that. Alright guys, welcome back to Bakers Bantering.
Wah, wah, wah. The gang is back.
Yep.
Guess who's back? Back again.
And we got a returning on Bakers Bantering today, Jenna Nicole Baker.
Woo!
Jenna, welcome back.
Thank you.
And this morning, we are going to talk about Downism and all of it today.
We're going to talk about what? Down
syndrome is what he said.
Oh.
Even though I don't actually have plans to talk about Down syndrome today. But, I mean, if you want.
Well, you know what? Wants to do it on Thursday.
Yeah, we're doing it on Thursday because I was in a different state on Tuesday when we normally record.
Exactly.
Anyway,
I got some breaking news in the rest of the world.
This is not the wrestling top 10.
nope. Be
Relax.
All right.
This is the biggest deal
Oh, he
in
showed
wrestling
me.
right now.
quick. Yep.
So
You showed me this morning, right?
I did show Mom this morning about SummerSlam. And you said there's no updates in 2025 for SummerSlam. Well, guess what? I got an update. It will be 2 nights special on August 3rd and August 2nd in 2025 in Liv Morgan's hometown, New Jersey, New York.
It's where the Mets play is what he showed me. Not the Mets.
The Jets.
MetLife Stadium.
Where
yeah.
the Jets play.
Yeah.
And the Giants, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be in Minneapolis.
I thought Indianapolis. So
Well, that is going to
The
happen.
Royal Rumble's in Indianapolis.
maybe that's what I was thinking.
That is going to happen in 2026. You said there's no updates for SummerSlam in 2025.
I said no such thing.
Well, you did.
Okay.
But
Maybe 3
there's
weeks
an
ago.
update.
That's
SummerSlam is going to held at the biggest stadium of all stadiums,
Yep. MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium. That is a big deal. That's awesome. I am happy for Liv in her hometown, New Jersey, New York.
Cool.
I can't wait to go. I can be. It's gonna be super fun. So maybe we might have. Mom told me we could not go to New Jersey. The whole travel, money issues.
Oh, boy.
Unless we have a sponsor.
Unless we have a sponsor.
Unless we have the sponsor, that's the first option. Or my second option,
Hit the lottery.
and my plan B, we could talk to the only, one and only from New Jersey, New York, Liv Morgan. So we need to talk to Liv, get us tickets in her hometown.
All right.
We'll see about that. Good luck with that. Don't count on it. Okay.
We need to talk to Liv on Monday Night
And
Raw.
by the way, it's just New Jersey. It's not New York. New Jersey and New York are two different states.
Well, it's New Jersey, New York.
Not quite.
It's very close to New York, the
Yes.
stadium. It's right across the river in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Which is why they call them the
That's
New
right.
York Giants, even though they play in New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the New York Jets,
And the New York Jets.
even though they play in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, we didn't need to see, I don't know, the next MLB
MLB team?
team.
Well, we could
The Jets.
potentially.
That's an NFL team.
The Mets. New
The
York
Mets,
Mets we
actually?
haven't seen.
Thank you, Mom.
But who plays in that stadium is an NFL team. Two NFL teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good news.
Okay.
What do you got for us, Jenna?
Well, I do want to start off by saying this weekend is Festibility, and it is at the Missouri History Museum this Saturday. We will be there. We are very excited.
You mean October 5th?
Okay, by the time this podcast comes out, it will be this weekend, which is why I'm saying it the way I said it. But thank you.
You're welcome for that.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Bad Blood is on Peacock. Stay tuned for that.
Okay,
5
okay,
and 6 are sexual. You'll get a deal. Bad Blood is going to be fun. Anyway, Festibility.
okay. No more wrestling. You talked about wrestling without me. I know you did. You sent me videos. We got a lot of other things to talk about today.
Well, I'll just remind
Okay.
people go watch Bad Blood. So I understand what I have to say. So let's talk about Festibility.
Okay, yes, Festibility is this weekend. It is a nonprofit that I co-founded, and we are very excited to host the event. And it is at the Missouri History Museum. It starts there's a Disability Pride Parade that starts at 10 a.m. It goes, then the event starts at the History Museum at 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. There'll be food trucks. There will be performances on stage.
Yeah.
Lots of disability representation. There will be the therapy touch dogs that you can actually pet, which is super cool. And we'll be there all day, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And not 100 degrees.
And not 100 degrees. And if you are not in
I
St.
can't
Louis and can't make it to Festibility in person, you can still support. We do have Festibility merch that will be available through the end of the weekend.
That's right.
If you go to the link in our Festibility Instagram bio, you can find that information, so you can get yourself a Celebrate Disability Festibility / Baker Banter t-shirt. So
Well, speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned it. We got 7-7 over there.
Yeah, we did get a package in the mail. We held off. Maybe we can open it at the end.
Well,
Yeah, we'll
today's
see.
the day for that.
Okay, we'll see. So I did want to, we've been having episodes coming out each week, but we haven't actually recorded a Bakers Bantering podcast in quite some time, because we kind of, backlogged some episodes because I had a couple of things that I was out of town for. So I actually want to backtrack a little bit, Derek. A couple weekends ago, you and I spent the weekend together.
We did.
And we started some new content that I need to work on, that we need to post.
That's right. Which is, Derek Baker, is working on doing food reviews and movies reviews.
No, not the reviews. That's not what I'm talking about. Actually, it was what did we do in the kitchen?
Oh, I know exactly what you were talking about. It's part of the food reviews, and one of those is definitely making food. So I don't agree on that.
Yeah. So Derek and I did some cooking,
Nice.
and it was a lot of fun.
I was a personal chef.
What did we make? Do you remember?
Mwah.
Do you remember?
Chef's kits.
Do you remember what we made?
Oh, yes, I did. We have spaghetti.
Squash.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Spaghetti squash. The other night. That was
What did we put on the spaghetti squash?
really good, actually. Pretty good sauce, and Oh my God, it was amazing.
And what else did we put on there?
And
Did you have meatballs?
yes,
Yeah.
meatballs
Gotta have meatballs.
We made a sauce from scratch.
from
We had
from scratch.
chicken meatballs and spaghetti squash.
It was good.
Did you make the chicken meatballs or were they frozen?
No, the chicken meatballs were pre-made, but they were very good. And then the next day, what did we do for lunch?
We did burger bowls. We got salad, burgers, and sauce go with it, and
Pickles,
pickles, all of it.
sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. It was amazing. It was delicious.
Derek actually stood at the oven and or I guess it was more like the stove, and he was in charge of cooking the burger, and he said multiple times how much fun he was having and
Yay!
that cooking is his
Yes, I did.
new hobby.
I love that.
Isn't that what you said?
That's exactly I said, baby.
But what's kind of funny, so we were here Friday night, and I had told Derek we were going to spend the night at my house on Saturday night.
Which is I didn't know of.
So I guess we didn't communicate about this very clearly. So I had told Derek earlier in the day to pack a bag. And by pack a bag, I meant
Clothing,
clothing,
toothbrush.
toiletries, CPAP, all the things. And as we were sitting there having our lunch, I'm like, okay, so what did you pack? And, I'm going over everything with him. And he's like, well, I packed my DVDs and my DVD player and my iPad and my iPad charger. And I'm like, oh, okay. What about clothes?
What about clean underwear?
What about a toothbrush? And he's like, clothes? Toothbrush? I was like, yeah, you're going to spend the night at my house.
I was like, what is going on? Am I to spend the night at somebody's house?
And he did not realize. So then I told him, I'm like, okay, you need we talked about it again. I'm like, okay, you need these things, whatever. And so while I was cleaning up the kitchen, he was supposed to go pack a bag. Well, we are headed out to the car. He's got all his stuff. I'm running through the list one more time. And I'm like, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I'm like, do you have your toothbrush? And he's like, oh, no, I forgot my toothbrush. And at this point, like, we need to get out the door. So I am like, okay, I'll run back in and grab your toothbrush really quick. And he's like, grab a bag. So, because you know how he like puts his toothbrush in like a Ziploc? Yeah.
Ziploc.
So I go back inside, and I don't know how this happened, but like I looked that bathroom up and down and there was no toothbrush. And I go back to the car and I'm like, Derek, are you sure you didn't put the toothbrush in your backpack already? Like, I didn't see the toothbrush. And he's like, it is in there. And I'm like, I don't know, Derek, I didn't see it. And he says, it is in there. You did not see it. And he's like, go look again. I'm like, why don't you come with me? So the two of us come back inside and we go into the bathroom, and my brain must have just glitched. Like, I don't know how I missed it. And
Was it right behind the faucet where it always is?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I was looking at the charger and like looking on the charger and looking where the other toothbrushes are. And I guess I never looked right behind the sink. And he like snatches up the toothbrush and he goes, it's right here, ding dong.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. That happened for sure.
Yeah. And then we went out to dinner with Chris that night. But before we went to dinner, Chris asked you a very important question. Do you remember?
Part the question.
You remember.
About the wedding.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Man of honor.
Chris asked you to be his man of honor.
He did.
And what did you say?
And I told him, I'm honored to be your man of honor.
I love that.
It's kind of like a number 2
Best man. That's right.
Exactly.
You're like the backup.
And I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
And then, of course, he wanted to run up and give him a hug. And I'm like, keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Do not lift your feet. Derek thinks he can jump into people's arms like a little baby. But turns out he's not a little baby.
What are you talking about, Liv?
You weigh twice as much as Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan.
You might be the same height.
You weigh so much more than Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, on.
You've easily got
on
70
Dominic.
pounds on
Dominic
Liv Morgan.
got Casey Liv. I gotta know if Dominic is so strong to catch me.
All right, well.
Nobody's strong enough to catch you. So then
Ask
we went to dinner.
Dominic.
So then we went to dinner, and we went to this little place. I've never been there before, but it was perfect because it was Mexican and burgers. So Derek got a burger, and Chris and I got Mexican.
It was very good.
And it was very good. We sat outside. But what was funny, so Chris has this beer that he likes. It's called Citywide. And I don't really know much about beer. And I just kind of thought it was kind of a more mild beer. And I say to Derek, I'm like, well, this is what Chris likes to drink. Because this place, they only had like more like craft options. There wasn't like just a plain Bud Light or Blue Moon or anything like Derek would typically choose. And so I'm like, well, why don't you just try this Citywide? Like, this is what Chris is going to get. And we go sit down. Derek takes one sip of this Citywide, and he, like, goes cross-eyed.
Was it strong?
It was very strong for me.
Yeah. And
Was it a stout or something? A dark beer?
I mean, they're not that dark. There is, like, a light version. So I guess it's, like, the heavier version of the two. But Chris, like, very much prefers the regular Citywide over the light. So I just, like, thought it would be fine. And Derek, like, made this face. Like, he was horrified. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work for you. And he's, like, just pushes the beer to Chris. And he says, Chris, you may have two. And then I went back and I asked the bartender. I was like, okay, that drink didn't work for my brother. Like, he typically will like a Blue Moon or a Bud Light. Like, what do you have like that? And then we did find one that you liked. That was a little more like a Blue Moon.
Yeah, it was. It was very good, actually.
But then there was a sweat bee attacking Derek. And Derek, like, wouldn't eat because this bee was buzzing him. And it was like, you know, it's just a little sweat bee. It's not going to sting you or anything. It's just kind of annoying. But Derek, like, could not move on. And he's like, we need to move inside. And the thing is, it was a really nice day out. So there was no inside. Like, even inside, they had all the windows up or like the garage doors up. So like you could go inside, but the bee could just as easily get inside. And this way, like, Chris and I are almost done. Derek's got like half a burger left to eat. And we're like, Derek, it's going to be okay.
And half onion rings too.
Yeah. But you did like your burger and your onion rings. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
So did you tell Derek the news about the football stuff?
We haven't really talked about it. No.
Okay, so last year we did a football survivor pool.
Yep.
And Derek won.
Derek won with the help of our buddy Philly Jared.
Love it.
Thank you, Jared.
And this year I re-enlisted Philly Jared and I said, hey, we're doing the football survivor pool. Do you want to help Derek again? He said yes. And he failed you.
You lost in the first round.
You were out the first week.
Week 1. Done.
But
Joe Burrow and the Bengals took you down.
It also took down Mom and...
No.
No?
Nice.
I had the Bills the first week.
Oh, you won the first week. You were out the second week.
Yeah.
Well, it took down Kyle. It took down Chris. A bunch of other people lost the first week too. And then the second week...
There's like 13, 16
There's 16 people in the
like
pool.
5 went out in week 1.
And as of week 3, there's no one left standing.
Everybody's out.
So we're going to start it over. So that's kind of fun. At least we get to try again. Yeah?
Yeah. That's David, a good idea.
So are you willing to give Jared a second chance?
Well, I would give Jared a second chance, but not the Bengals.
Right.
You're right. Well,
That's
you can't
fair.
pick them again anyway.
You can't do that. So then...
Bengals fail me.
Yes,
So
they
last
did.
weekend, this past weekend I was in Florida, but the weekend before that I was in Austin with my friends for one of my friends' bachelorette parties. And they had decided...
How was that?
Well, so they had decided that we were going to do this like wig night. And to be honest, I wasn't really like all that excited about the wig night because I knew that a wig was going to cause me mad sensory issues and I wasn't going to like having a wig on my head. And I didn't really want to go buy a wig that I was never going to use again. So I texted Katie and Megan and I'm like, hey, do you guys have a wig? And as soon as I sent the text, my light bulb went off in my head and I was like, oh, Derek has a wig.
Look at him doing the Blake Shelton thing.
Yeah. I don't need to ask my sister and my cousin. I need to ask
Shout out to Quinn. So funny.
I need to ask my brother because of course obviously my brother has a wig.
A lady's wig.
A lady's wig. So I did.
Well, we are.
You have wigs, don't you, Jake?
Liv Morgan.
No, Jake says he has no wigs.
October.
So I did wear your Bailey wig, and I did make a side-by-side. I'll have to send it to you guys for the podcast edit.
She makes a prettier girl. She does.
Yeah, I made a side-by-side of me in the Bailey wig versus you in the Bailey wig, and I did the same like Bailey pose that you did. And Dad responded and was like, at least you make a prettier girl. And I was like, thanks, Dad.
Whatever he
Thanks,
says.
Dad.
But I
do. I want to defend you.
Yeah, but I do appreciate you letting me borrow it.
How was the night? Did you enjoy it?
It was fun. It was fun. I was very ready to have the wig off my head by the time the night was over. And eventually I got used to it, I guess. But it was tough. Like, yeah. I think I should have maybe tried it on ahead of time because I think it would have been better had I like trimmed the bangs just a little bit. They were just a little too long and they were like right in my eyes. And then that was very irritating. But we did have fun. We went to a comedy show that was absolutely hilarious. So, and in the comedy show, Derek.
I love that.
There was this guy and he comes out. I wish I should have written it down what tune he was singing this song to. But he like comes out and he's like clearly dressed up as something strange. I like couldn't tell what he was. It was all brown and he had these like striped looking things across his chest, and then he had like his two little arms that he had his arms in, and then it was like whatever the song was, and then at the end he goes, I'm a cicada, and he puts his arms straight out, and then two more arms popped up, so he had 6 arms total, and he was a cicada, and it was so funny. I started cackling. I was like, too bad I can't record this for Derek.
Yeah,
too bad for that.
Derek might have run out of the theater seeing a cicada that big.
Yeah.
A human-sized cicada.
Although, you know, you do have a cicada as a running mate for 2024. Derek Baker Cicada 2024.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, check out the merch. Derek Baker and the Cicada, Derek Baker and the Bobcat. Okay, I did have a question, Derek. So, and I got permission to ask this question. I was actually told to ask this question.
By him?
No, by someone else.
Okay.
So our cousin Drew and Jordan, his wife, they have a baby.
Okay.
And I was told that when you were at the river with Drew and Jordan and the baby, you asked Jordan what the name of their next baby is going to be.
Yes, I did.
And Jordan told you, from what I heard, that they were not planning to tell anybody. They had some things in mind, but they were not planning to tell anybody. And you told them that you could keep a secret.
I did.
So Jordan told you.
Jordan did tell me, and I did not crack. I was holding it.
Well, keep holding. I don't think you're supposed to tell.
Well, Jordan wants to know if Derek remembers the baby name.
I do.
Do you? Well, what is it?
Huston.
Huh. Maybe he does remember.
Huston?
Well, I'm assuming that was supposed to be Hudson.
Hudson?
Yep.
That's a great name.
That is a great name. I wonder if he's right.
I don't know.
Jordan told me to ask.
Okay.
It was her idea.
Well, thank you, Jordan. Shout out to you.
All right. Well,
we'll see if you were right.
We'll have to see now.
We're going to see him in a couple weeks for the baby's first birthday.
Well, I am so excited.
The cat might be out of the bag now. Jordan told me to ask.
All right.
So If Derek's right, they might have just told everybody.
Yeah, except she's not expecting right now, and if she
does she know if it's going to be a boy or a girl.
Right, nor does she know that it would be a boy.
Yeah.
But that's a great name.
So while I was gone, you got to see one of your friends. Who'd you get to see?
I did.
Who'd you see?
Mom, do you remember the Davenports?
Yeah, I remember the Davenports, but I don't think we're talking about the same thing.
Well, I was at Humane Society, and I saw this mom.
Mrs. Davenport?
Mrs. Davenport.
Yeah, that's funny. I
And
recently
I
saw
said
Kayla
hi.
Davenport.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay, I wasn't talking about the Davenports. I was talking about one of your friends from Texas.
Oh, you mean Dylan?
Dylan! How's Dylan?
Dylan is so fun.
Dylan is Cowboy Derek.
Yeah, cowboy mullet, Derek.
He has a mullet, and he has Down syndrome, and him and Derek are best buds.
Yep,
What
he
you
was
guys
in
do?
town.
Well, we hang for the day. We did have great dinner at Dewey's, and
Derek did a pizza review at Dewey's.
Yes, I did.
We had a great pizza.
Did you?
We did. And then they really enjoyed their pizza too, and they had like a barbecue chicken pizza, didn't they? And they let you tried a piece of their pizza, and Dylan tried a piece of our pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just see Dylan for dinner, or did you hang out another time?
And then I did ask Mom to hang with Dylan, and
The next night. Yeah, we were going to take him to a softball game, and Katie's team showed up at the field, and the other school didn't have a JV team.
What?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
So they drove, 20-ish minutes, 25 minutes, whatever, to get to West County to go to this softball game, and they're standing around. There's no JV team, and some other coach, I think maybe she said, like the lacrosse coach or something, came up and said, I thought they were playing at your place. And they're like, well, that was varsity. We're JV. And he's like, oh, man, we don't have a JV team.
That's so weird. Why would they schedule that? How did that happen?
I mean, I'm sure it was pre-scheduled, but who knows where the fail was? Did the AD at that or did the AD at that school not tell the AD at Katie's school that there was not a team? Or was the AD at Katie's school notified, but they failed to tell the softball program? I mean, who knows, right? But anyway, they showed up. So we didn't get to go to the game, but we picked up Dylan, brought him home. Dad made burgers. They were a little different than normal. Why were the burgers different than normal, Derek?
Well, before we up to dinner, and burgers are pretty good. It was different at first, but Dylan and I watched movies together.
Yeah, they did. They watched a movie down here and had some popcorn.
We have popcorn. We watched good movies in Jurassic World.
Nice. I went to Jurassic World this weekend.
Wow.
Kind of.
That movie was super fun.
Yep.
And I heard in 2025 they were releasing the next Jurassic World. Can you look that up,
Jake?
Mr. Jake?
Okay, what was different about the burgers?
They were a little black. They were very well done.
Oh, did Dad burn the burgers?
Yeah, he pretty much burned the burgers and the buns.
What was he doing?
He didn't turn it was dark by the time they were done, and he didn't turn the light on the deck, so it was dark. I don't know.
Realize everything was getting burnt.
Yeah.
And
Dylan still gave it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, well, that's so nice of him.
Imagine that.
And then we watched the next movie, which is representing the Halloween. Actually, we watched The Haunted Hour.
Yeah. And then we ate burnt burgers.
Dylan and I were watching that movie before dinner got started, and we paused the movie. Dinner was ready, and I paused the movie, and then we went on to have burgers. It was kind of different. Maybe something was a little bit odd. Maybe
Maybe Dad burned them.
Maybe Dad burned them accidentally. And
they were fine.
I'm
but they were-
surprised Dylan didn't say, Mr. Baker, I can do better than this.
Yeah, no, he was very sweet.
Dylan's a good barbecue.
Yeah.
but
Cook.
Dylan
Yes.
was super nice to get that 10 out of 10. My score is definitely accurate. It is 10.9.
He always gives a 10.9.
That makes no sense.
Katie was giving him a 6. I gave him a solid 7. I mean, they were not.
Dylan got Dad at a 10, and I got Dad.
The corn and asparagus was very good, but the burgers were a little well done.
10.9.
There you go.
Mhm.
Any burger's good for Derek.
So you
Yeah.
and Dad also had yourselves a little weekend last weekend, little boys' weekend.
Yeah, before we jump to that,
Okay.
we did, and after dinner, Dad and I went back downstairs, watched some more of Haunted Hour, representing Halloween. That's one way, short hour Halloween month, because you got Halloween merch coming out. It was a perfect Halloween movie in Haunted Hour. That movie was super good. And Dylan told me, actually, I told him, don't think about it.
Okay.
And Dylan says, I don't want to think about it.
Okay.
And then he told me he was going to have nightmares, hopefully.
Oh, no.
Hopefully he doesn't have a nightmare. I didn't hear from Darla that he had a nightmare.
So how was your weekend with Dad?
We went to the farm, and
I heard it was a little hot.
it was very hot.
Yeah, it was stupid hot.
It was.
It was supposed to be a beautiful fall
stupid
weekend,
hot.
and it was not.
It was not hot.
It was hot.
So that was fun, and
I heard Dad let you do a lot of sleeping in.
I did. I got in bed late on Friday because I was watching SmackDown that night, and then I went to bed after that. Sleep in when
Dad went hunting.
Dad and Dave went hunting, and got up and take care of freight pays on Saturday morning.
And then did you go visit the cemetery on Saturday?
And then we went to the cabin. After that, we went to the cemetery. You did mention that.
To see Mimi Baker?
Cemetery. To see Mimi Baker. Ta-da-da.
I heard it was your idea.
It was my idea, actually.
That's sweet.
I did not tell her proper goodbye, so
Did you have a moment with her?
I have good mommy with Mimi Baker.
Anything you want to share with us?
It's really hard right now. It's really hard to lose what you love, and at that moment with Mimi Baker, it's just like that.
I think if we remember when
All the good memories with Mimi Baker, everything. I told her all about wrestling all the time. My color comes.
You talked to her about when you called the police on her? Did you apologize to her?
But Dad did bring up that day.
Jake's like, what?
yeah, long story. We'll tell you later.
Long story for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
But if you remember when we buried her, he would not walk into the cemetery.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He
yeah.
sat, there was some benches and
under some shade.
and
Yeah.
he sat over there, and we all went graveside, and he didn't want to come, and I certainly wasn't going to make him,
Yeah.
walk over to the grave. So I guess you felt like you didn't really say goodbye like you should have last summer.
No.
And so
it was really,
you were ready. You were ready to tell her you loved her.
to let her go.
Yeah, well, none of us were ready to let her go, for sure.
Okay. Speaking of this, sorry, this is kind of
Crass.
yeah, but
to
funny
make
at the
this
same
jump.
time.
There's a reason why. This is a reason why dedicate the win to Mimi Baker to become the champion.
Okay, no. Let me say something. So we're at the bar, and I was out of town this week with Chris and his family. And Chris and I go to the bar at the beach, and we're, placing an order. And Chris's brother had told us he didn't want to drink. And then he texted me, and Chris didn't have his phone, so he only texted me. And there's not many text messages between just me and Chris's brother. Like most of the time, if I'm hearing from him, it's in a group text of some sort. Well, he texts me asking for a drink, saying like, I'll take a drink after all, whatever. And I open the texts, and we have 3 text exchanges. One, him telling me he's sorry about Mimi Baker passing away.
The other one saying, I'm sorry, Mimi Warren passed away.
The other saying, sorry, your other grandma passed away. They were 6 months apart.
And give me a drink.
And give me a drink from the bar. And it was really kind of funny. And at this point, we had made friends with the bartender at the resort. And the bartender's name was Chris. And he's from Kansas City, and he actually has been to the same river that we go to many times, and he was pretty excited to hear about other people who had ties to the same area that he's from or whatever. And I just like started cracking up, and he's like, what happened? And I just like told him, I'm like, well, Nick, because at this point he like knows all of us by name, because we ended up sitting at the bar at the hotel that was like the beachside bar like all day Sunday, and we watched football at the bar, which was like a lot of fun. But so at this point he knew Chris and Nick and I by name, and I'm like, well, Nick just texted me, and these are my 3 texts with Chris.
Sorry, your grandma's dead.
Sorry, your grandma's dead.
Sorry, your grandma's dead.
Hey,
give
can
me
I
a
get
drink.
It was really kind of funny. So it was relevant to the topic.
Yeah, it was relevant to the topic. But I think that you were very brave. And I'm sure that Mimi was looking down on you with a big smile. She really loved you.
I bet she accepted your apology about when you called the police on her.
I think outside of Megan, you were probably Mimi Baker's most favorite person.
You were definitely Mimi Baker's
favorite.
favorite. She bought you iPads.
Yeah.
And she made a fake iPad for me that consisted of a piece of paper with an eyeball, printed out piece of paper of an eyeball attached to a pad.
Feminine pad.
Like a feminine pad. And she gave it to me as a joke. She's like, you want an iPad? Here's your iPad.
Yeah.
Mind you, she bought Derek iPads.
Well, but that was, she bought one for him later, I think. But nonetheless.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good times. She's funny. But yeah. Okay. Well, anything else from your weekend with Dad? I heard you did make a friend in Rolla.
Yeah. I saw that on.
Yeah. You got recognized?
I did. It was really awesome.
Cool. Can I tell you guys about a little bit of stuff from my trip? I got confirmation while we were there in Florida, while I was in Florida, that we have 1, 2, 3 tickets to NXT in St. Louis.
Woo, 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 woo.
I can't wait for that. I am so excited for that. I can't wait.
So 2 nights of wrestling in a row in St. Louis for Derek and Mom and I. And Dad gets to come on Monday.
There you go. We are very lucky.
Well, I can't wait for that. I'm going to say hi to Samantha Ehrman.
I don't know that you'll get to say hi to anyone other than from your seat. But
Yeah.
Well, Samantha Ehrman is...
Irvin.
Urban.
I know, she's the commentator, or she's the ring announcer.
Ring announcer. I'm going to say hi to her. Plus, I might open a show for Raw and tell everybody the news what I'm going through with my family.
Oh boy.
Not just that, open my heart to Dom. And I'm going to call out Izzy Page for the NXT Championship on NXT.
I think Ethan Page would give it to you. He likes you.
I like Ethan Page. He's funny.
I like Ethan Page too, but he likes you. I think he'd just give it to you.
You ready to think so?
Yeah. I went to Universal for a couple of days with Chris and his family, and then we were in Palm Beach for a few days. We had a lot of fun. We actually left at the perfect time because the hurricane hits today. So that was great. But
not great that the hurricane hits today, but
great timing on our part.
You got lucky.
We got lucky.
You're getting out of town before it hits.
I hope it's not as bad. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad. Fun fact, actually, Chris's mom, her cousin is a weatherman in Orlando.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, his name's Tom. And he is like, a little local celebrity down there. And I guess a few years ago, there was a hurricane that came through that he's been doing this for years. And he has been a meteorologist since people made decisions about what the weather was going to do based on graphs. And he's also been a meteorologist now in the digital age where computers tell meteorologists what's going to happen. And I guess there was a hurricane, I don't know how long ago, but a handful of years ago, that all the computers said Orlando was in the clear. It wasn't going to get hit. The computers said Orlando's good. People didn't take precautions. They didn't get out of Dodge. Like, they just believed that what the meteorologist was telling them was going to be fine. And he was like looking at the data and he was like, I just don't think this is right. And he went to the old school way that he grew up doing. And he ran the numbers and crunched the graphs and did all the things, whatever. And he's like, this is going to hit us smack on. And he went back on air, was like, no, you need to let me talk to them. And he went back on air and he's like, this is going to hit Orlando. Hunker down. Like, everybody needs to hunker down, brace for impact. And it pummeled Orlando.
Wow.
And he actually got national recognition for coming back and saying, no, this is going to be a problem. And he was the only station in town that reported that it was going to hit Orlando, and he was right. And Orlando actually got hit really hard that year. And luckily, at least one person was reporting on it saying you need to take precaution. So I guess down there, his term is hunker down.
Okay.
And when he says hunker, and it's kind of like a little bit of a bit, as he starts not undressing, but when his coat comes off, the weather's getting a little more serious. When he rolls up his sleeves, it's really serious. So all the people around there know, oh boy, Tom's got his sleeves rolled up.
We're in trouble.
We're gonna get hit hard. So yeah, it was interesting to get to talk to him. I had met him once before, but not in that kind of a setting where we were able to really have conversation. So we did get to see him, which was nice. But I actually took very, very detailed notes for Katie and Ryan because they are going to Universal next month. I am a bit worried about her because she has even worse motion sickness than I do. And I don't go on any rides besides the Harry Potter rides because I don't care. And I'm not going to get myself sick just to go on a ride that I don't care about. But the Harry Potter rides, it's if you don't go on the ride, you don't get the full experience. There's things that for example, there's a Hogwarts ride and when you're standing in line, you are going through Hogwarts. You're seeing the classrooms and you're seeing all this, you get to see, the fat lady who is in the door to let you into Gryffindor, and you see the Defense Against the Dark Arts rooms. And there's all this CGI stuff of Harry, Ron, and Hermione and Dumbledore. And if you don't go on the ride, you don't get to see the inside of Hogwarts, the inside of Gringotts, that sort of thing. When Chris and I were there 2 years ago, we didn't even attempt to go on Hagrid's because it was a brand new roller coaster and it was just, the lines were unbelievably long. So we just didn't even attempt it. And I didn't know how I'd do on the roller coaster. We did get to go on Hagrid's this time and it was so cool. Being back there, you see Hagrid's hut and you see just all these cool scenic things that they have created when you're standing in the lines waiting for your turn to take the ride.
Jurassic World?
No, see, I didn't go on any. Chris and his brother went on the Velociraptor ride, which is the Jurassic World roller coaster, a couple times. But I didn't. I only went on the Harry Potter rides because I was only willing to potentially make myself ill for the Harry Potter rides. But Hagrid's is so cool. You actually, it's a 2-person, like, I mean, it's a roller coaster, so there's of course a bunch of carts, but you sit side by side, 2 people, and one person is on Hagrid's bike and the other person is in Hagrid's sidecar.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
Of course, when Chris and I rode it, he was on the bike and I was in the sidecar because I was like, I'm not sitting up like that. Like, this is gonna, and I at this point I'm like, I had strategically taken Dramamine so that I was like the Dramamine was hitting like right before I got on the ride. And I just wanted to experience it. Cause if you don't go on the ride, they'll let you like walk through the whole thing and then just not go on the ride, but you're still like missing a lot of things that you wouldn't otherwise get to see unless you go on the ride. And so like when we went on the ride, we saw Fluffy and we saw Hagrid and we saw the flying car that's in the Forbidden Forest, and like I wouldn't have been able to see any of those things had I not gone on the ride.
The flying car?
Yeah, the flying car that Harry and Ron take, and then they hit the Whomping Willow, and then the car lives in the Forbidden Forest. There's a flying car in the ride, but you have to be on the roller coaster to see it. So we like go on this roller coaster first thing, like we had been there all day. Thursday,
bald head guy.
Voldemort?
Yeah, that.
No, I didn't see Voldemort. I did see Voldemort. Voldemort's in the Gringotts ride. You see Voldemort, but not on Hagrid's. But so we first thing when we got there Wednesday morning, we like, because of where we stayed, we had early access. So we like get there, we had breakfast, and we went and stood in line for Hagrid's. Like that was the first thing we did. So as soon as I ate breakfast, I took my medicine and I'm like, okay, we're gonna give this a try. I had told Chris's mom the day before. She's like, did you get nervous? Did you scream like on one of the roller coasters or one of the rides we had gone on? And I was like, no, like I don't really scream very often on roller coasters. And cause normally I don't. Hagrid's got me multiple times. I was like, I yelped.
like spiders coming at you and shit?
No, like just, well, at one point, and I'm going to tell Katie this cause like I would have liked to have known like
3-headed werewolf,
3-headed dog, and Fluffy. Yeah. And if I wouldn't have gone on the ride, I wouldn't have been able to see it. And we did see Fluffy. It was very cool. It's like this big animatronic thing, but I wish I would have read the warnings a little bit more closely, because I would have realized this ahead of going on the ride instead of just being shocked when it happened. But there is one part where you actually do go backward. And then there's another part where the ride just drops. And it drops you like 6 feet. And both of those times I screamed because I was not expecting either of those things. It was a very smooth roller coaster because it's a very new roller coaster. So it's not like super jerky, which I really don't like about roller coasters. But it was very smooth. But those 2 times, like, it got me a little bit. And I did ride it again. And I did better on it the first time than the second time. But the second time I did it, it was like a lot later in the day. And I feel like at that point, like, I was tired, probably wasn't drinking enough water. I'd been on my feet all day. And like, it's just like your body's been through so much on these rides.
I've been drinking water. Even though I have sore throat going on, I still drinking water to take care of it.
So then one thing that I didn't notice the last time we were there, and I don't know if maybe I just never went into this bathroom, but one of the bathrooms you can actually hear Moaning Myrtle.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's pretty funny. And then we did. Henry. So they have these, like it's just these things are just like money machines, And we went up and I wanted a soda, so we got a soda. And I filled up my soda, and it was a $5 soda for, like a
vending machine, you mean?
It's like like one of those big Coke machines where you can go and pick.
A vending machine.
Yeah, but you can pick like all the different things, whatever. Well, you can fill up water at those things at any time. Any cup, they'll always let you get water. But at this point, I wanted a soda. I needed a little caffeine boost. So I get a soda. It's a $5 20-ounce soda. Wow. And it's crazy. Got it. And I walk back over later because I had drank a lot of it. And I'm like, before we leave this area, I'll just go fill it up one more time. It will not let me fill it up. Turns out there's a chip on the bottom. And once you have filled it up once, you don't get to fill it up again. And I'm like, my God,
you're already $5 for a 20-ounce soda? Yeah. It's highway robbery.
It's ridiculous. And then
how do you take a young family there anymore? You know what I mean? How do you afford it?
Ungodly expensive. Yeah. So they do have these souvenir cups, and the souvenir cups, of course, like $18, and you can refill that the whole time you're there. But I even saw somebody filling up their souvenir cup, and it says, like, I saw the screen on the soda machines. It said like free refills until 9/21. So it even knows from the souvenir cup, like, this souvenir cup has access until this date. So, like, if I would have had a souvenir cup and brought it home and brought it back let Katie bring it back, it wouldn't work.
Wow.
And I was just, it was astonishing. But I did have a donut that was, like, bigger than my hand. I sent you a picture of that. Did you see it?
Oh, I saw that. That was cool.
What kind of donut?
It was just a vanilla donut. It had pink icing and sprinkles. It was very good. The best food we had was actually at the new Minions Cafe. We had a delicious lunch there.
You saw some Minions?
We did see some Minions.
Banana.
I did take a picture with a Minion, and Chris's brother was making fun of me because I was the oldest person trying to take a picture with a Minion by about 30 years.
Whatever.
More like 25, but still. Yes, and I was also taller than the Minion. Nobody else trying to take a picture with the Minion was taller than the Minion, but I was. But I got my picture with the Minion. I love the Minions. But we had this like burnt ends mac and cheese, which was so good. And then we had...
Speaking of that.
Yeah, Derek hit me up this morning. Domino's apparently now has mac and cheese, and Derek would like that for dinner tomorrow night.
Okay, good to know.
We'll see.
They called it a pizza, but it was more like a calzone, and it was so good. And I had over 22,000 steps both Thursday and Friday. It was... My feet were hurting by the time we got to the beach. We did go to Halloween Horror Nights on Friday, and it was fun, but unfortunately, I do think...
headed horsemen?
I did not.
Headless.
Unfortunately, I do think it wasn't quite as good as when we went in 2022. And one of the things I noticed was when we had gone in 2022, there was so many characters and people walking around on stilts. And there was not a single person on stilts this year. And I wonder if like something happened. We tried to look it up, but we couldn't figure it out. But what was cool this year that didn't happen in 2022 is that when we went into Diagon Alley, because Halloween Horror Nights is only in the Universal side of things. And we went to both Islands of Adventure and Universal, but the Halloween Horror Nights only takes place in the Universal side of the park. But when you go into Diagon Alley, when we went there in 2022, you could go in, but there's nothing special going on in there. Well, this year when we went into Diagon Alley, there's Death Eaters all over the place. And they've got the masks on, and they're casting spells, and they're doing little skits and things. So that was pretty cool to see the Death Eaters. But we did... when we walked home at that point, we got to the park at like 2:00 on Wednesday, and we were there till almost 6:30. So we had like 4 hours on Wednesday, and then we were there all day Thursday, all day Friday. And by the time Chris and I got home, Chris, his brother and his parents went home early, and then we went home like about an hour after them. And by the time we got home, this has never happened to me, but I could not get my ring off because I was so swollen, and I was just exhausted by the time we got home. So I was very happy that we did the Universal side of things before the beach side of things, because then we had 3 days to relax at the beach after that, which was very good. And we had 3 lovely days at the beach. I cannot comprehend how fast Chris can read. He finished 2 Harry Potter books on the beach. 2.
Wow.
He finished the first one on the plane, started the second one, finished the second one, finished almost all the way through the third one, and then finished that one on the plane right home, and started the 4th one on the plane yesterday. I don't understand how he can read that fast. I read like 45 pages total, and he finished 2 Harry Potter books.
That's very fast.
I know. It makes no sense to me. And we're like complete opposite ends of the spectrum. I read so slow, and he reads so fast.
I have a great idea for a movie review.
What's that?
Derek Baker watch every single Harry Potter movies and get reviews on it.
That would be fun. So we were in Palm Beach, which I feel, and I told Dad this last night and he told me I was wrong, but I feel like I haven't spent nearly as much time on the Atlantic side of Florida as I have on the Gulf side of Florida. And I'll tell you what, there is a big difference when it comes to the intensity of the water.
Oh, sure.
Like
and the sand is very different too.
Yeah, the sand was nice. The sand
more
was
coarse though. It's not the white, cool,
it's not
white
like
sand.
It's not white, but it was very nice. It was very pleasant. But it's the waves were they were huge. The first day we were there, this wave like took me out. Like I completely wiped out. I had scrapes all up and down my leg. Like it kind of twisted my knee when I went down. It was very unfortunate and I was not happy about it. And
no, exactly.
I didn't let that happen again.
No, exactly. I did in Tampa.
Yeah. Well, Tampa's not quite as intense because we were on the other side of the state.
When then that big wave comes, and then I was like,
there you go.
Yeah. But we actually did see there was a boat that had wrecked and was like washed up on the beach and abandoned. And I actually took this really cool picture of it. I can show you, but it was very kind of odd. And I'm kind of surprised it was still there. It wasn't a huge boat. Like, it was definitely like an ocean boat, but it wasn't like it was just like a personal boat. But when we walked by, it had this horrible like gas smell, which didn't feel very safe. And then, but we had 3 days at the beach. It was perfect. Didn't need any more than that. We were under umbrellas the whole time, so I did not get burnt, and I was thankful for that. But we had a really great trip. It was a lot of fun, and now I'm home.
Awesome.
And
Welcome
I got
home.
home today and scared Derek, and that was fun for me. And then so before we wrap up, I did just want to ask one more thing. I saw that you have started weightlifting again.
I did.
How's that going?
It's going well, actually. I am off season with Evan and
Becca?
Shows Evan, actually.
Oh, okay.
With the other friends like Josh and
Florica was there yesterday.
Florica and Tyler and also myself. It was incredible.
I think Griff was there the first week, wasn't he?
He wasn't, actually.
No? Okay. Yeah, so we're doing some off-season training. I think that Derek really enjoyed that weightlifting tournament, the two he did last spring, and I think it's something he could really excel in, and so we're investing time and energy and money, and we're doing some off-season training with Evan, Coach Evan.
Yep.
Evan's a great guy.
Well, that's awesome. We'll have to have Evan on the podcast sometime.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. For sure.
Okay, well, I do want to preface, this is the last episode of September, and I am hoping to have a handful of disability-related conversations in the month of October because it is Down Syndrome Awareness Month. So I've got some people I've been talking to that I'm trying to get scheduled to have some conversations about Down syndrome so that we can.
Well, speaking of that, Jenna, I'm glad you mentioned that. In October, we are going to wear some pink as well because it's
breast cancer
awareness. So next time we're going to be on this podcast, we're going to wear some pink.
Okay, cool. I love that.
Spread awareness. If any survivors have breast cancer, we're all thinking of you. Survive in this breast cancer awareness. We all believe in survivors in the breast cancer awareness. Be the champions you are. Be you want to be.
I love that. Thank you, Derek.
So nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is all we have time for today. Again, this Saturday, if you are in or near St. Louis, come see us at Festibility at the Missouri History Museum. It's going to be
October
a great day. October 5th. See you there. Festibility.org to learn more information. Find us on all the platforms at Baker Banter. Find Derek on Snapchat at Baker Banter and on Cameo at Baker Banter. If you go to bakerbanter.com or click the link in any of our bios, you can find our merch store. We've got some new Derek Baker 2024, Derek and the Bobcat, Derek and the Cicada 2024 merch up there. It's a lot of fun.
And the Bobcat shirt is my favorite.
We've got some shirts and we've got some hats, so that's a lot of fun. You should go check it out. Check out my Etsy store. I do have a bunch of Halloween-inspired items on my Etsy store, and that is called JBJ Creative, or you can also find that at the link tree, which is linked in our bio. And like, share,
subscribe,
and we will talk to you on Thursday. Peace.